Welcome to Speaking Prowess. Are you ready to supercharge your communication skills and achieve unstoppable success? You're in the right place. Join Sifu Rafael, visionary founder and world-renowned master instructor, as he transforms leaders into powerful communicators. Joining Sifu is co-host Brigitte Hufele, a dynamic businesswoman, global speaker, and NLP master trainer, and the Skilled Center of NLP team. They will deliver unmatched expertise and energy to every episode. Prepare to unlock your full potential and make every conversation count. This is Speaking Prowess, where your journey to communication mastery begins.
Cindy, happy Friday. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Sifu. Happy Friday to you.
Yes, exceptional. Let's talk about bringing great guests on this show. And I'm so happy you're here with me today. And we actually have two amazing guests. Let's go ahead and bring them. I think I hear them down the hallway. I think they're walking in from the green room. And let's go and bring them in. And we got Perrette and Jason. Happy Friday to both of you. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Exceptional.
So good to see you
Day.
again.
Yes, sir. So today's topic is personal power through perception and presence. Who wants to take that? I think Jason's ready. I think Jason's ready for that one.
Wow, that's some deep stuff here on a Friday afternoon, Sifu.
You got it, my friend. But I know you're a deep thinker and you do some incredible things. So we'd love to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, when I hear that, it's just such a powerful statement. I think we all have the ability to represent ourselves and tell our stories. And I don't even know how to describe and articulate what I'm thinking and feeling when I see something so powerful like that. But I'm super excited to be here and share my story, and excited to meet Cindy and Priyat. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Priyat, what is your thought about that? The personal power through perception and presence.
Yeah. Well, first of all, personal power. Just the acknowledgement that we have personal power, that we don't have to just function as robots and follow everybody's system rules and just do everything and just exist. That when we get to the point where we acknowledge that we have personal power, we can make our own decisions. Mm-hmm. I think that's where we start from with the personal power. Like we acknowledge, yes, it's not just what it is. We can take that personal power through what was perception of like what we are. Mm-hmm. And from there, we start showing it to others and applying to our life and our decisions.
Yeah, I love that. Cindy, I'm coming to you next, right?
Yeah. So, personal power and presence. The first time I really tapped into that was it was in India, and learning that I could just be. Not that my identity was someone's mother or sister, daughter, employee, all those things, those titles that we put on ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
About who we might be. But that in our essence, we show up. When we can show up in our essence, that's the most personal power that you can have.
Mm-hmm. I love that. You made me think of being present, and you talked about the titles that we put on ourselves, but sometimes other people put titles on us, right? So, for example, when I introduce my fiance, I don't go, "This is my fiance." I say, "This is Melanie." And then a lot of times people go, "Are you guys together?"
Mhm.
Because she has her own identity, and I want to make sure that people don't necessarily have to attach her to me for her to have her presence. So, do we give somebody a title? I mean, doctor, lawyer, fireman, police officer, maybe that's their job. But when we're in a private setting or with friends, are we still that person? What's the presence that we're coming with? Where did we change our hats, if you will, so that we can function the way we were meant to function? Maybe we have a job. Maybe I'm a construction worker, or I clean offices, or I do laundry, whatever it is. But that does not always define who I am. And I think that I love what you're all saying, that the presence that we have to do is based on us, not what the world has told us we are.
Mhm.
You can change that. I could be a janitor and then work my way out of it and then become a lawyer. Or I can be a lawyer and say, I want to go into IT, or I want to go into computers, or I want to become an investment broker instead. So we can change the identity that someone else has put on us. Some people call it the government identity, right? Because you have a license, driver's license. Who gave you that?
Right.
That's
The
right.
government. Who gave you your passport? The government.
Mhm.
But we still have an identity that we can show up with wherever we go.
Mhm.
Paul, I love Paul. Listen to me. I just had Paul on my other show. I apologize. Jason, and
Yes.
you know Paul McFadden. Um,
Oh,
he's also
yeah.
on the CLA. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, Jason, you said you're happy to be here and talk about your story. I'd love for you to share some of that story with us, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So, I grew up, I sold medical devices. That's been my profession for almost 20 years. And I absolutely loved selling medical stuff, right? I'm a type A aggressive sales guy, very rewarding career. Um, but over the course of time, in the 20 years of selling medical sales or being in medical sales, lots of people came to me, and somehow within my friends and family, I became anointed as the person to come to be creative and different and memorable when it came to how to interview, and when it came to how to just tell their story and stand out. I always talk about breaking out of the sea of sameness. Interviewing to get a medical sales job is very difficult. And, I'm of the belief and opinion, attention is the new currency. If you're constantly interviewing the same way over and over, you're just like everyone else. So how can we put our own little twist to that and be a little bit different? And sometimes I think better isn't necessarily better, but being different is better. And so I now help people do just that. I left the medical device industry after a cancer diagnosis in 2019, really changed who I was. What do I want to do? What's my purpose? Am I really, doing what I'm called to do? And, this lucrative, great career in medical sales, I was hitting my stride, but I felt this passion to want to help people. And so I walked away from the industry to start Build Your Own Brand, so I can now help people and businesses tell their stories in a more unique and different and memorable way. And so I think it was that diagnosis that really, just there was this tug and pull. And ultimately, God bless my wife, she was like, just pushed me into the deep end when I was sitting there dipping my toe in, of starting this business and just going out and being comfortable being uncomfortable. And she preaches and I preach, comfort is the enemy of growth, to our kids. But I had to kind of do that myself. And so here I am, super grateful to be here, super thankful. And that's just a little bit more about me and my story.
Wow, thank you. I always say it's the stories that amplify life, right? And you talked about the art of communication when you talked about interviewing, but if you interview the same way, you're going to be like everybody else. So you got to change it up and be more articulate, maybe present a little bit different. So that's true power of communication. And now you're teaching other people how to do uh, the best that they can do with what they have, right? Or even go more and I'm going to call it graduate to the next level, because I was talking about identity before, and you're no longer identified as that salesman.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. Cindy, when you know, I've had the pleasure of having your husband on my shows. What an incredible human being he is, and when because we're also a part of Codebreaker, and that's a game changer because it helps people understand that we all communicate differently. We all show up slightly differently. How has that helped you in your relationship with your husband?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's not personal, it's personality.
That's right.
My husband and I are opposite codes. He leads with action, and I lead with nurturing knowledge. And so the communication in the beginning, before before bank, before code breaker, communication could get a little wonky. And when you learn that it's not personal, it's personality, there brings an aspect of compassion and understanding that might not have been there before, and patience. Patience, especially on his side, because as an action, he wants everything now and let's do it and let's go. And my personality is more like, okay, I'm going to take a look at this. Does it feel right? Does it align with my mission, vision, and values before I jump into the deep end?
Right.
So we help each other that way. You know, I help pull him back and he helps pull me forward. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good, it's a wonderful tool, and it really helps us balance our communication with each other.
I love that. I love that. Balancing your communication. I'm going to bring up a slide that talks about balance, right? So I have this thing that I'm starting April 21st, and it's about balancing your lifestyle. It's a lifestyle reset, Sifu's mind body method. And the reason I bring that up is because you just said balance. I'm like, look at this. This guy's got good balance. He's balancing his life. He's smiling. He's happy. His mind is fresh. He's outdoors. He's doing what we all should be doing, which is taking care of us so that we can communicate better, so we can love deeper, so we can have the relationships that matter. That's why I'm excited. What I'm doing on April 21st is going to be my launch to Sifu's Mind and Body Reset. Who here agrees that we're not in the same place we were a year ago?
Oh, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not even like just a year ago. It's can be a week or a day. That I
Absolutely.
think one of those old Buddhist sayings was, I don't remember which one said it, but they were said like, each day I'm born new.
That's why I shower so early in the morning, to wash off all of yesterday's troubles.
Mhm.
I love that.
Because you can start every day as a new person. If something that happened in the past, you don't have to, if it's negatively affecting you, then you can find a way to either heal or do something about it and start the day new instead of carrying that whole life with you.
1000%. And that's why I agree that we should all change our sheets every so often, because we shed in the middle of the night. If you go and you look with a microscope, your skin is on the bed,
Oh,
right?
yep.
So it sounds gross, but it's reality. It does
It
happen.
is true.
So
It's not even actually, Sifu, it's not even actually only on your sheets. You can see, like, when you've been coming out of the shower or something in your towels, you can see that skin on your towels too.
yeah, and our skin is a living organism, and it's going to
Mhm.
continue to move, but we need to move it. So because Cindy is my co-host, I'm going to step back a little bit, and she's going to ask a bunch of questions.
Thank you, Sifu. Perrette, I would love to hear more about your happiness program.
Happiness expertise. Yeah. Well, that's what I kind of teach. And the way I got into it, I did coaching before, but I got more specific with happiness because I'm one of those naturally happy people, like born happy, and like I can see things positively since I was little. But I couldn't, like, in the beginning, I was like, couldn't figure out why other people couldn't do that. Like, why can't other people just be happy, like, just like that as well? Well, why aren't they? So I started studying more about that and trying to figure out how to help them to have something that for me become just normal, you know? So that's how I got like more into expertise of happiness, trying to teach other people what's natural for me. And as there is like certain things that go along with it, and also the perception of what happiness is right now is so wrong. You know, like people think that, first of all, they think everybody wants to be happy, while there's a lot of people who don't even know what happiness is. They have like bad experiences and everything. So they can't want to be happy because they don't know even what it is. So, and there's a lot of people who are just angry, and they live their life angry, and they never want to be happy either. I've had some people actually telling me like I don't want to be happy, you know. So that one, and then another thing, what the misconception is, people think like, oh, like happy life is when you're happy all the time, and that's not realistic either. Like you still have to have fear, you have to have sadness, you have to have anger, and something, all those other feelings we have for reasons as well. So we have all those emotions for reasons. It's not like happy life is like you're always happy. You can't be happy if someone close to you dies. Then you need to process that, and or something else significant happens in your life. It's not normal in certain situations to be happy, and then you have to feel those other emotions.
I love that, because if you think about the Disney movie or Snow White, she had all the emotions with her, right? All seven.
Yeah, now they're showing it. So, did you actually see the new movie?
Not the new one, no.
Oh, I had to go. Like, we didn't have to go, but I went to go see with my daughter, and it was actually like, to leave all the politics aside, it was actually a nice kid movie. There wasn't any like political agenda in that movie specifically.
Thanks for the recommendation, because I can definitely take my grandbabies to see it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It brings me joy.
It is a really nice, clean story. Nothing political in there. The story is a little bit changed from what it naturally was, but the songs are actually most of the songs are very close to what the original cartoon was. And a lot of the story is really original to the cartoon. So it was really nice children's movie.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good to know.
Well, one of the things I do that brings me happiness is blowing bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
Woo-hoo! I love it.
There we go, Cindy.
the beauty of that is that, okay, so years ago, driving to Florida to visit my son's grandmother, we were stuck on 95 and somebody up ahead of us, I mean, it was a parking lot. We were stopped. Somebody up ahead of us started blowing bubbles. And
Wow.
I got so excited. I was like, this was one of those moments where it's like, okay, I will have bubbles in my car with me wherever I go from now on. And I carry bubbles everywhere. And the ability to shift the perception, like when I see a little child crying or cranky,
Mhm.
and I go
Ooh.
kneel in front of them and I blow my bubbles, and to watch them stop immediately and maybe smile, and then I give the bubbles to their parents, right? And I'm like, here, this is my gift to you. Use it, whether it's on an airplane or outside a restaurant waiting to get in. But little things like that can shift the moment, shift the anxiety that the parents might be feeling, that the people around them might be feeling, and being present to that. So there's the presence again, being present to what's going on around you. So, any thoughts on that, Jason or Perrette?
Yeah, so something so small but so impactful, so powerful, right? Like so wholesome and genuine, little old bubble. I mean, all of us are adults and we're smiling when you blew the bubble, right? I mean, just really cool. I love it.
Thank you. How about you?
I'm gonna chime in because you gave me a great tool, and this is how I would use bubbles. I work with kids, but sometimes if you come across somebody who starts yelling at you, you can use bubbles
Yep.
to disperse that energy.
Yeah.
Or you can say, listen, you have a lot of hot air. Can you blow into this?
Yeah.
Great tool. I'm going to use it. But I love the fact that you were happy, Cindy, when you saw it, somebody else was doing it, and you're like, wow, it brought joy to them, to you, and you don't even know how many other people. So the little acts that we can do that we may think, oh, I'm just enjoying this, but somebody else can also benefit from the little simple things. And Jason, you said it perfectly. The little thing that you did, we all like lit up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But imagine, I work with kids all the time. I'm going to have to go to Amazon. I want to get a shotgun or something that blows like 1,000 bubbles at once, right? And the kids are going to go, what? This is a crazy fun place. Here's the funny thing about bubbles. I used to teach a Kung Fu to 2-year-olds. The only way I can teach them was with bubbles. So I would put a fan and I would put somebody there and they would be fanning bubbles and the kids would have to catch them. And that's how they were learning how to punch. Then I would say more precision, you have to touch it with your finger. And then I would have them punching upward or I would have them kick the bubbles. But you just reminded me of how much fun bubbles are. So simple and inexpensive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's actually a lot of things with happiness is like those simple things. Like people think like happiness has to be something extreme, but you like those simple little things are actually what make the difference.
Yeah. I want to say a quick shout out to Mary Lou Franzella, who she made a really cool comment here about happiness. Who's going to read it out loud?
I will. Happiness is that positive energy that you can pass on. People have the free will to choose happiness no matter what they experience. More happy, please. This world needs it. And it's so true. It's a choice. We
Well
can
said.
choose to be miserable, and sometimes there's a time for that. If we give ourselves a time frame, say, okay, I'm going to be cranky right now because I just feel cranky, and get out of it and then blow some bubbles and be happy.
I love what you said. My fiance and I, we kind of play this joke on us. we're basically never grumpy or anything, but we'll just look at each other and go, "Are you grumpy?" Like, no, I'm not grumpy. And then we make believe we're grumpy just to see what it feels like, and we're like, "No, we're good."
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's
During
about also
COVID,
having fun.
totally.
Mhm.
You were
I
saying,
I was
Jason?
gonna say during COVID, my wife and I, the prestigious school Yale, they offered a free course on happiness, and so we signed up, and it was like a 6-week, 8-week course. There was homework, there were assignments, and really at the end of the course, you got a certificate. Now I can say I've graduated from Yale. Um,
Mhm.
just kidding. I'm not smart enough to go to Yale. But what I found so interesting from the course was that, everyone has such a different definition of what happiness is. And oftentimes people are thinking money and stuff and, whatever it was, but all of the research, and it was just so consistent that happiness was oftentimes doing things for others. And it had nothing to do with stuff or money or anything like that, tangible things. It was often really related to children and playing with kids and very innocent things, very things that that really bring joy. So the bubble thing made me think of the course that we had taken, because it's something so small and simple, but yet look at us, we're all still smiling from talking about the bubble. So just a really neat experience and exercise to complete that.
I want to jump on something you said, Jason. You said you're not that smart. I have to disagree. And Yale was lucky to have you.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I think Cindy has like 28 more questions for you guys, and me too. Maybe. No pressure, Cindy. Oh, you there?
Cindy might
Can you
be
hear her?
frozen. Oh, there's
Cindy, are you frozen? You want us to throw some heat your way? Just kidding. Okay, so just in case you are are you frozen, Cindy? Can you hear us?
Sure.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I can hear you.
Oh, good. There
okay.
she is.
I said that you have like 28 more questions for us, so we're listening.
Maybe there's a little bit delay
Yeah,
when she
possibly.
gets the message or something.
No worries.
I can have a question before then.
Ooh,
For
let's go. I love when a guest asks a question, so go for it.
because I asked that question from everybody because of the happiness thing. So because when I teach that happiness is individualistic. So everybody has to actually know not what everybody like society thinks about happiness, but they have to ask themselves what makes me happy. So I'll ask each of you, say different separately, what makes you feel happy, like not what happiness is in general world, but it could be just an item like bubbles for Cindy, or something's activity, a person, or a thing, something general, like, or something general view of happiness, from your personal view. Who'll start?
Yeah, I'll go. I think the first thing that comes to mind for me, Priyat, is my children. When I'm around, I have a 14-year-old and a 6-month-old. Go figure. That's a pretty interesting difference in age, but each of them bring me so much joy. Going to my daughter's high school volleyball and watching her do really well and excel and be around her friends, I feel really good about that. But then on the contrary, I feel really good watching my little guy now eat food for the first time and seeing some of the little milestones. Those are some of the things that just make me so happy and tingly inside, right? Like to see these things. So I would say my children, definitely 100%.
Go ahead, Cindy.
And for me, it's my children and my grandchildren, because my sons have together, they have 4 children, and they're all under the age of 5. And seeing them play and being with them, and that brings me so much joy. And of course, blowing bubbles.
I'm a Toys R Us kid. I'm going to tell you, I love playing. I love having a good time. I love engaging with other people. And I believe my happiness is when I can see or share a moment with someone else and we're both overjoyed about it. I think the connections that we make, the connections that we have, those are the people that, for me personally, those are the people that bring joy to me. My children, my partner, my neighbors, my clients. When I see them be happy, oh man, I got to tell you, not only does it fill my heart with joy, but it fills my heart with pride that maybe I had a little tiny little bit of impact on their lives. And whenever they even say just the word thank you, I'm beyond filled. Right? It
well
really
said.
resonates for me.
That's awesome.
So we're
How about
talking
you,
about.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right, Pere. How about you?
So for me as well, like experiences, not as much things that can be as well. I have my favorite things, but experiences, events, interacting with people, same thing with my daughter and like any kind of people, but life experiences, something like like positive experiences, but like going out and doing something active and meeting new people, talking with the people, all things like that.
Love
And
it.
feel like the moments when you actually like feel alive and like we're start like present. You're not somewhere like in your mind, you're actually present in that moment and experiencing life in that like right now, right here.
I love
Love
what
it.
you
Love
said
it.
about being present too.
Yeah.
Really, how often do we get into situations where we're not present? We're thinking about what's going to happen or what has happened. And when we can be fully present and for the people that we're with. And another thing that brings me happiness is being of service, is sharing the responsibilities for things that are going on with other people is just a real joy for me.
Yeah, yeah. I want to shift this conversation a slight bit, and I want to go back to personal power, but let's talk about the communication behind personal power. For me, it always involves my own communication with myself, right? When I'm also happiness for me is when I get on a stage and I'm talking to people, right? So wherever I am traveling or I'm going to be on a public stage or so forth. And what I get when I am in front of other people, the personal power that I can gather from other people is by the words that they use, the way they communicate with me, the way I communicate back with them. So it's that exchange, right? That exchange. And the most important one that I see to truly hone in on the personal power for me is clarity. I always seek clarity. It's like that's my true north. How clear can we be on this? What did you mean by that? And explain more. And why? Right. So I love to turn it to that realm of personal power. What does that mean for you?
There's
Anyone?
there's a big importance in that, to truly listening and being present and listening to the other person, paying attention to their words, and their body language. It's not just the words that are coming out of their mouth. It's the body language. It's the facial expressions. If they're smiling, if they're frowning, all of that. And personal power for me is in allowing that other person to be who they are and meeting them in that place.
Yeah, well said, Cindy. I love body language. I'm always very locked in and very, paying attention to the details of someone. And, like Sifu, if I'm ever speaking somewhere, I'm looking like, is this message even resonating? Like there's no nodding, there's no smiling, there's no nothing. Like I've got to change this up a little bit, or, so the body language tells so much without someone saying a word, right? So it's so important.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to mention when Sifu, you were saying that the feedback from others, you like the feedback from others, and how that sometimes is important for personal power, because I noticed with myself that sometimes I'm already thinking about other things I want to do, and I don't acknowledge the things that I already accomplished. So I need those other people to come and tell me like, oh, it's so awesome that you did this, and so great that you accomplished this, and makes me realize that, yeah, I did that. Like instead of my own mind, I noticed it like a few years ago. I noticed that I did that when I was already in the next goal, and I didn't acknowledge the power that I already have done. It's like that's where the feedback comes in, and that's when I learned to actually pay attention on when I accomplish something, to celebrate it in that moment and take that power to me as well. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to also say how was Jason was saying, what was it about? What did you mention as well with the personal power?
Oh, the body language. The body language.
Yeah, the body language, and that one for reflecting to show how other people perceive you as well. Mm-hmm. It's like when your inside feelings, you might not see what they're seeing. See, and then that's how you kind of you have to when you're reading other people are reading you in the same time.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
It's like when two books meet each other. when we interact with another person, and you're right, we need to be able to read, and they need to be able to read us. But if we're hiding behind a facade, if we're hiding behind, I think it's time to truly take our masks off and say, this is who I am, this is how I show up. Because so many people come in with all these baggage, if you will, barriers, so that there's no true connections. But when we can start to make true connections, and sometimes we can't do that because we don't find the right words, we don't know how to express ourselves. This is why I love communication so much. This is why I even have a communication school, that we need to learn what matters at the moment and how to interact so others know what matters to us. Because sometimes, and you've all seen it, you've seen it in movies, you've seen it probably in personal lives, when you talk to other people, that they're meek. They're like, oh yeah, I don't want to really talk about this, because fear sets in. They claim that they're shy, but we never know who they are because they're hiding, right? And so for me, I love when I see somebody flourish, somebody who came to me and they were hiding, right? And they put up a front, right? like people dating, they put up a front and then you get to know who they are. They're like, wait a minute, that's not the same person, right? So, but we're not going to date everybody if we go to a conference, right? But we can still come, and we don't have to put this facade on, and we can come as natural and as free as we are. Listen, sometimes I'm wearing a t-shirt, sometimes I'm wearing shorts, sometimes I'm in a suit, sometimes today I'm a little bit more casual, but that does not define who I am. I define who I am. What are your thoughts on that?
I think now we're starting to realize that again. Maybe it was like that before, but there was a time, like let's say certain time, when everything had to be in a standard way. So you had to present in yourself in a certain way, and you had to be not real because that was accepted or like needed for that thing that you were doing, like professional attire. Before it was like, oh, you had to wear a suit like all the time for this thing. But now it's more versatile. Like you said, you don't have to wear a suit. You can be like the way you are. And if you want to wear a suit, you'll wear a suit. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. But there was a certain time, but there was that applied for us from social rules that to be presented in this way, you have to look like this.
There is a time and situation. Like if I go to court, if I was a lawyer, I would be like, but no, hello.
Yeah. But there's some really good lawyers who can go with whatever they wear and pull it up. Like there's some people who do that with, and then
Agreed.
But that's really strong, different personality way to do it, and they just really have to know what they're doing. They might be doing it even in purpose for the effect, not in a courtroom, but some other room. They do it on purpose, not to follow the rules, but doing something different to get the effect or whatever their goal is.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of clients who are lawyers, and they're high-end lawyers, and they're the ones that are charging $1,000 an hour. They will never go into a courtroom without a suit because they're charging that much. So, but there are other lawyers, like maybe traffic court. They're not. They don't care, right?
Yeah.
But even then, they will. When we talk about showing up, right, authentic. I mean, take a look at any 1950s beach picture, the boardwalk at Coney Island. Everybody's in a suit in the summer at the beach.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And listen, my dad wore suits all the time. All the time. It didn't matter the day. It didn't matter if we're going out to the park. The man wore a suit. That's how he grew up as well. So, of course, didn't I want to be like my dad? Yeah. So I was like, can I get a suit too? Kind of deal. So there was a time when I used to be in corporate and I had to wear a suit because that was right. And then they did casual Fridays. Now, casual Fridays, some people did not understand it meant just don't wear a tie. In this particular firm I worked for, some people thought they can wear flip-flops and shorts. Can I tell you, they got sent home. They got sent home because it's the perception that other people want. Because if they had a client walk through the office,
that's right,
and somebody's in shorts and flip-flops, they're like, what kind of place is this? I'm going to take my business elsewhere, right? So we have to also know place and the way we show up for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of optics, right, and perception, like you said, Sifu, that go into this. If I'm going to charge $1,000 an hour, I better be buttoned up and look the part, be the part, act the part, But also, Perrette brings up an interesting point, and alluding back to what I said earlier. Sometimes there's something to be said about just doing it to be a little bit different and a little bit against the grain, just to stand out, to be memorable. So it's a fascinating and interesting topic.
It is. It is.
And
I
I'd
wanted
like
to say-
a little tiny twist to this. We're talking about multidimensional perception as well. So energetically, the way we show up is
Great point.
huge. And when our energy is good and high and pure, we can be felt even before we're seen.
Mm.
And when you're showing up on stage, Sifu and Jason, when you're up there and people are watching you, there is a dynamic of energy exchange going back and forth between you and the audience. And I used to do some acting back when I was a child, young, and that kind of energy exchange is amazing. And when you can feel that, when you can know it's just life-changing.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. That's important. I wanted to go back to that boardwalk with the suits. Because the way I see it from living in Florida, boardwalk over there was where the business was done. That's where the business was done. That's where they were wearing the suits. Like here you go and they do business in a golf course. Back then, business was done on the boardwalk on a beach.
Yeah. It's come to that time that we're basically, the show is done. This has been a great conversation. I'm glad that we touch on a few topics here. We want to right now give you each 30 to 45 seconds. Tell us about what people can expect when they come see you. I'm going to put your information across the bottom. Why don't we, Perrette, we'll let you go first. You have 30 to 45 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I'd like everybody to support me, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That will help as well, because that's what I'm developing right now, teaching the happiness from there. And how Cindy is starting to mention multi-dimensional perception. That's what I'm going to start teaching there as well, because it's important and it's going to be involved in the future. But beside that, I help people in one-on-one as well, or in the groups, to find their own access to their own happiness, where actually you find out what makes you happy and how can you make the goals and how you can start seeing the happiness and have more of those feelings in your personal life.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that. Everybody go support her channel, will you? All right. Jason, you're up, my friend.
Yeah, just real quick. Thank you, Cindy, Sifu, Perrette. It's been just an awesome experience on a Friday afternoon here to spend it with you. So really grateful. My name is Jason Zigadlo. I'm the founder of Build Your Own Brand. I focus on helping businesses and individuals. We do workshops really to help boost confidence and credibility. I spend a lot of time helping people, professional development speaking, in terms of how they tell their story to be unique and different and memorable. I broke into medical sales by standing in parking lots and handing out my resumes with a suit on, made my own business cards because I wanted to be different and memorable. And so I'm not asking anyone to loiter in parking lots, but you have to figure out your own way to be creative and different, to break out of the sea of sameness. And so if that sounds like something that would benefit someone, please feel free. I could never have too many friends on social media. Find me on LinkedIn or Facebook, Instagram. Would be happy to connect and see if there's something I can do to help. So thank you so much.
I love it. Love it. Cindy, you're up.
Well, thank you, everyone. It's just been such a pleasure being here with Perrette and Jason and you, Sifu. And I am on the faculty at the Center of NLP, and I'm an NLP coach and also EQI 2.0 coach. So if you're interested in learning more about emotional intelligence, you can link up with me on LinkedIn. So I'm happy to connect with you, and let's start a conversation.
Love it. Love it. And I'm Sifu Rafael. What can I say? I'm going to tell you, meet me at my YouTube for this show and all the other shows that I'm doing. Also, just so everybody knows, I am doing a 90-day. Are you ready for this? 90-day cleansing, coaching, mindset, fitness, fasting, whole body, whole mind method. I would love for you to be part of it. Everybody, what a blast this was. Thank you, everybody. I am blessed to know you all. And here's the thing. I want to thank everybody who listened. And if you got to see this on the replay, send it to someone. And if you got to see it live, send it to someone. They need to listen to this show. Everybody, have yourself an exceptional rest of the day. You guys hang out for a minute. We're going to say goodbye to everybody. Have yourself an exceptional rest of the day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.